Okay, for our ACT review, the first question that we have here for our ACT warm-up number 1 is going to be: a restaurant occupying the top floor of a skyscraper rotates as diners enjoy the view. Ling and Sarah notice that they begin their meal at 7 p.m. and looking due north. Okay, and then at 7:45 they have rotated 180 degrees. Okay, to view that was due south. Okay, and then at this rate, how many degrees will the restaurant rotate in 1 hour? So I'm going to gather some information here. I'm going to list at 7 p.m. they were heading due north. By 7:45 they were heading due south. So they had rotated around and was now heading due south, and that was 180 degrees. Okay, so this is really a proportion problem. If we look at the information that we have, they rotated in a circular fashion 180 degrees in 45 minutes. So you can put the degrees on top and the time on the bottom. This is 45 minutes. And so the question was, so let me label this so you guys can see what we're doing here. Degrees, and we'll just call this time. And so the question was, where will they be, like how many degrees will they have rotated at 60 minutes? And so what we want to do is, it doesn't matter if you put the time on top or the degrees on top, it doesn't really matter, but for this next ratio, because that's what we're comparing, this is a unit rate. In other words, how many degrees, well, if I reduce this to 1 in the bottom, that would give me a rate of how many degrees per 1 minute, right? And I could do that. And then this should have the same rate, degrees per minute, but I have 60 minutes. So the simple way to do that is to set up a proportion, right? Because they have the same ratio, they're equivalent ratios. And I don't know how many degrees that is, so I'm going to put an X here. Remember, whenever we don't know something, we put an X in its place. And so to solve this, you cross multiply. So 80 times 60 is equal to 45x. And then simply divide both sides by 45. Now if I plug that in my calculator, and we need to be careful, if I plug that in my calculator, I will get 180 times 60 gives me 10,800. Then to divide it by 45, I think it's 240. Is 240 degrees. Okay, and we'll just double check and make sure that's one of our solutions. Yep, here it is, C, 240.